Well, it's the start of a new trading week, and it looks like the taco trade is back once more. Yes, after President Trump's relatively, or rather punchy threats in terms of additional 100% tariffs on China and export controls on software on Friday, which of course gave markets a little bit of a fright and saw a significant bout of de-risking into the weekend. The weekend itself was marked by a much cooler, calmer and more conciliatory tone, not only from Vice President J.D. Vance, but also from President Trump himself, who was saying, don't worry about China, it will all be fine. And it certainly seems like it's all fine for financial markets this morning. Futures on Wall Street rallying nicely, the S&P future up by about 1.25% in early deals. European futures firmer as well, although Asia not quite joining in with that, and that's not really surprising given that the tariff news itself crossed well after the APAC close on Friday evening. It does seem once again that what we've had from President Trump in terms of this tariff announcement or threat is another example of the escalate to de-escalate strategy, throwing out a slightly ridiculous and outlandish number in an attempt to focus minds, extract concessions from the other party and reach a deal ultimately sooner than would otherwise have been possible. You'd imagine that market participants would be used to that by now, but clearly the art of the deal has not been read by all involved with financial markets. Nevertheless, the question remains where we go next. If indeed this is the latest saga in the taco pantomime, then you would imagine that this is a dip buying opportunity for equities. And in fact, that is exactly the way that I would be looking at things. But I think it's a bit of a tall order to expect that we erase all of Friday's moves in the equity complex and elsewhere just yet, particularly given that we do now need to discount even a slim chance that this is a realistic threat that Trump does follow through on. And of course, there is still 3 weeks until these tariffs are supposed to be implemented on the 1st of November. But in any case, it does look like this is just a negotiating gambit. It looks as if markets are going to be able to shrug this off in relatively short order. The real kick for the next leg higher will be confirmation that Trump and Xi are best buddies again and that the US-China trade truce remains in force. And of course, we will pay very, very close attention to incoming headlines on that front this week. And while we await that news, while equities may grind higher and risk sentiment may be on a steadier footing, you would expect levels of both implied and realized vol to remain higher given the greater degree of risk that we now have in the market.